Brooks Launch 10. I challenge you to find a better running shoe at this price. So let's jump into our specs. First of all, this is the regular Launch 10, not the GTS version, which stands to Go To Stabilization. So this is just the normal Launch 10. It has a 10mm drop from heel to toe. They weigh 235.5 grams or 8.3 ounces. Brooks describes this shoe as a classic fit. Brooks also categorize all their shoes, and these are categorized as speed. However, they are labeled as the slowest of the speed. They have fast, faster, and fastest, and these are just fast. It has lightweight DNA cushioning in the midsole, and it's meant to be responsive and adaptive for a fast experience. The upper has their warp knit design, which is meant to keep your foot secure whilst remaining breathable. It uses what they call the speed heel, which is designed to pull the collar away, which should get rid of any Achilles irritation or rubbing. The outsole pattern is designed for quick transitions and an efficient toe-off. It has a flat tongue design to sit comfortably against the midfoot. As for the fit of the shoe, I'd say they come in a little bit snug. However, I don't think you need to go a half size up. You can just get their wide variety, which will just give you a little bit more room, but overall they're a pretty good fit. The shoes come in 2 colours for men and 2 colours for women, and they cost £110. Right, so let's get into our likes and settle in, because there is quite a few. So we're going to start off with this DNA midsole. It is really good. It's not the most cushioned shoe you're going to run in, but it feels great. It gives you a bit of responsiveness, a bit of ground feel, and there's enough cushion there that you can go for miles and miles. It feels great on a really long run. It also feels really good when pushing the pace. You don't sort of get that foot fatigue that you do from some shoes that don't have enough cushion, and it's really nice. They just feel great underfoot, and there's enough cushion and enough responsiveness that it's a really good midsole. Next up is probably my favorite thing about this shoe, and that is the platform that you land on. So when you see it from here, the platform looks quite wide, and I think the combination of the midsole and the outsole and just the shape and design of it is amazing. The platform that you land on is brilliant. I absolutely love it. I feel so secure in these shoes, and I went for a club run the other week, and I was there with a lot of really quick downhill runners, and to be honest, they're just gonna drop me. But in this shoe, I felt so confident in my landing platform that I could just hammer it down the hill and hang on. I mean, they still dropped me, but I was a lot closer, and I think that's down to the sort of landing of this shoe and how stable it feels underneath you. And this isn't even the stability one, this is just the normal shoe, and it feels so good underfoot and so stable and so comfortable. I really like it. So then to combine with that, we've got the traction. That's another like. I think the traction on this is absolutely wicked. On the road, it feels incredible, even in the wet on steep hills. I have had a little issue where if I run on some moss, it gets a bit slippy, but it is moss, so that's kind of to be expected. In the dry, it just feels amazing, even on the wet. I've taken this off-road on the grass, and it just feels great. Everywhere I seem to take this shoe, the traction holds up really well. I've taken it off-road, and I absolutely love it. I just think the traction is a big win for this shoe. Then from there, we're going to go to the heel. So this speed heel design is really cool. So I've had a little bit of trouble with my left Achilles lately. It's just been playing up slightly, and this shoe does seem to relieve it. They say about this speed heel, which pulls the collar away and should relieve some Achilles irritation, and it really does work. I do find in this shoe that my Achilles is feeling a little bit better at the end of that run. I don't seem to do a late night run in this and then the next morning wake up and feel a bit stiff. These sort of seem to relieve that, which is really nice. I really like how this heel feels. And also, even though it pulls the collar away, it still locks you down well, which is really nice. It's really secure. So to follow on from that, we're going to talk about the lockdown. So the lockdown of this shoe is great. It does lock you down really well in the midfoot. The toe box isn't super wide, but it's also not too narrow, and you do get a decent lockdown everywhere from the toe to the midfoot to the heel. It feels really nice, really solid, and combined with that platform, the shoe is so solid. It's just functional. It works so well. Then we're going to go to the flat tongue. I think the flat tongue is an absolute winner on this shoe. I find a lot of shoes that are cheaper, they're really bulky, they've got a really bulky tongue, and they're trying to do it for comfort, but I don't think it's comfortable. Whereas this is comfortable, it hugs your foot really well, it really adds to the lockdown, but also it feels like a premium shoe with this tongue. It feels like a lightweight racing shoe, it's great, I absolutely love it. So the tongue for me is just amazing. I really wish so many companies would adopt this style of tongue in their cheaper shoes. Then we're going to go on to the breathability. Not much to mention, it's functional, it works. It's not the best breathability ever, however I've had some really hot runs and it's kept my foot nice and cool. Even when pushing the pace, the breathability definitely works. And then lightweight. These are really lightweight. If you compare them to other shoes in the category like the Pegasus or the Windflow, it's lighter than both of those by a fair amount, and it just feels really lightweight and nice. It feels great when it's on the foot. Okay, so onto the dislikes, and I've only got two for you because I think this shoe is really good. And the first one is just that the upper feels a bit cheap. So when you put it on, it feels a bit stiff and rigid, and it just doesn't feel like the best material has gone into it. Even the feel of it on your hands, it does feel a little bit cheap. It is durable, which is good. It seems to be holding up well. I've run over 120 miles in these and they are holding up really well. However, they do just feel a little bit cheap. There's something about them, I don't know, it's just the plastic feels a bit cheap and nasty sometimes, like the eyelets for the laces, like the laces don't run through that well, which is really annoying. And that leads us straight onto the second dislike, which is the laces, because I think the cheapest part of this shoe feels like the laces. They do just feel a bit cheap and nasty. Now you can always replace them, but I'm always going to review them with the original laces, but they do just feel a bit meh. And also what I find is that they bind quite well and you have to double knot them. You should always double knot them, but I do think they're lacking a little bit on length, and that might come back to the fact that the shoe is a little bit snug on size. As I said, you don't have to go up a half size, maybe just get the wide variety, but the laces are a tiny bit short. It would help if they were a little bit longer. It'd be a little bit easier to get that double knot and also just get the laces tightened up nicely across the foot. I do find they don't tighten up very well. The biggest thing for me with this shoe of when it feels bad is actually when you're putting it on. I find that it takes a lot to sort of jiggle it around and move it and get it right. And with these sort of cheaper materials that don't feel great, it's a lot of faffing and sort of moving them, and you have to pull the laces and they don't pull through properly, and it's just a bit annoying. So for me, that's the one thing that I just think some of the materials just don't feel premium. But it is one of the sort of more budget shoes, so it can be forgiven. Okay, so to conclude, I think this is a fantastic shoe. It's absolutely brilliant. I don't think anything about it is really gonna blow you away. Maybe that landing platform, but nothing about it is super flashy. But what it is functional. It works perfectly. And that's what I love about it. It just does everything you need it to. And that's such a good thing for this price. Just to have a shoe that you can do any run in, no matter what, any day, any weather. It's great and it's not that expensive. I just think it is an awesome shoe. So then who are these shoes for? Well, I think they're the perfect everyday shoe. If you want an everyday shoe that's not too expensive, that is gonna perform really well, not just get through it, but actually perform, I think this is your shoe, because it's nice and lightweight and the landing platform's good and the midsole gives you enough cushion that you can go really long or you can go really fast. It's absolutely great and I love it for that. So for me, someone who wants maybe a cheaper racing shoe, maybe you want to get your park run time down and you want something that's a little bit quicker but not too expensive, this is the perfect shoe. Or someone who just wants to up their training, do some more miles, some more speed sessions, this is the perfect shoe. It's going to do all of it. Or maybe even someone who just needs an everyday shoe that you could take off road every now and then, or run in the rain, or run steeper hills, or not worry about drains and things like that. This is probably the shoe for you. I think nothing really lets it down. I've had the dislikes, which I've said about the laces and the cheap material, but it doesn't really let it down. It's still an absolutely great shoe. So I absolutely love the Brooks Launch 10, and if you'd like to see me put it up against the Pegasus from Nike, then have a click on this video here, and if you want to see any other shoe reviews, please click on this one here. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you think I've earned it, please hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.